Hey folks, today I want to do something that's a little bit more spiritual, religious in regard to the economic situation that we're in. One of the first things that I started to study when I started to become more observant, was looking at how I should observe my life and how I should live my life. And I did this by reading the Psalms and also starting to read the Torah from Genesis to the end. But one of the things I discovered and I noticed over and over again was something that I first discovered 10 years ago, which is from Psalms chapter 15, verse 5. And I'm going to read that for you. I have it on BibleGateway.com, so it's New International Version, so it may sound a little different than what you have in say, the King James or something, but here it goes. The verse goes, verse 15, who lends his money without usury and does not accept a bribe against the innocent. He who does these things will never be shaken. And the whole chapter goes about how one gives charity versus lending money. And when I went to look up this verse, I found on Bible Gateway a whole mess of other ones. One of them really struck me was Ezekiel 18:8, which he does not lend at usury or takes excessive interest. He withholds his hand from doing wrong and judging fairly between man and man. One of the first things I did in 1998 and subsequently thereafter was to pay off my credit cards and any outstanding debt that was revolving. School loans I had already paid off. But I feel that if you're paying a mortgage, and this is me speaking, not a rabbi or anything like that, but if you have revolving debt, I personally don't own any credit cards. And it was difficult, I will not lie to you, but it did teach me the valuable aspect that if I don't have the money for something, I don't buy it. Now, I live very close to the ground, as many of you probably do now. I've been doing it a little longer, probably than most, but I originally started to do it not because I felt that there was any type of conspiracy theory, but I felt that that's the way God wanted me to live my life, and it was a difficult process. But what I'm here to tell you or to encourage you today is that if you have any credit cards, I would strongly suggest to you to do exactly what I did. Cut them up. Cut them up. Pay them off. Close the accounts. I know a lot of people think that we're going into hyperinflation, and I agree with them. I honestly believe that that's going to happen. And that may be a benefit for you in the short haul, because as things get higher and higher, your money's going to be worth less and less. Therefore, if you have like a $10,000 credit that you have to pay off, it will become easier for you to pay it off because the dollar will be worth less and you'll be paid more. But don't forget subsequently with credit cards that if the inflation goes higher, so your interest on that credit will go higher. In some cases, if you count the fees and all the other little jargon that they do and add it on to the interest, some of you are paying 50-60% interest. A lot of people don't realize that, and people have been paying their minimum payment. So what I would suggest to you, and this is a little bit outside the normal scope of what I've always said, but I would suggest you sit down, cut up your credit cards, and pray about what you're going to do. But I would suggest if you have to work an extra job or a part-time job, or you got to sell things like books or whatever to pay it off, do it. Because I honestly believe that this type of credit card debt, this revolving debt, is slavery. And second of all, they whoever they are, the government, companies, whatever, are going to use that debt to enslave you. They've already started to do this once they changed the bankruptcy laws. Most of the credit cards you get stuck with. You don't get a free carte blanche when you walk away like you used to before 2003 or 2004 when they signed the new credit card law, the bankruptcy law. So what I would suggest to you is there's going to be a lull. I've been praying about this and meditating on this for a long time. I honestly believe that there's going to be a lull between now and Black Friday. And for you folks who don't live in the United States, Black Friday is the first day after Thanksgiving, which this year I think falls on November the 28th, till Christmas Eve, where people buy stuff, and the first day is usually an indication of whether stores are going to make or break for the year based on that day alone. When Black Friday happens, I honestly believe that a lot of people are just not going to use their credit cards, but they're not paying them off. And when that happens, I think that that's going to be the next shoe to drop off of this millipede of this financial crisis. And when that happens, they're going to lock you down. They're not going to allow you to use the credit cards, but they're not going to allow you to walk away from them like you did with real estate. And they're really going to haunt you, and it's going to follow you around like a albatross around your neck. So I strongly suggest that tonight, before the day is over, lay out your credit cards, whatever you have, cut them up, walk away from them, and then really look at how much you have outstanding and just pay it off. Pay it off as soon as you can. It's going to free you up. It is going to stunt you. At first, you're going to hate your life because I'm telling you from personal experience. But then you'll find out that what you have is worth more than the stuff that you haven't purchased yet. And then when you do purchase something, you do take the time and purchase it and ask yourself, do I really need this? And the real definition between need and desire really gets defined there. So that's my friendly video for today. I just felt that it needed to be said. I would strongly suggest you go on BibleGateway.com, type in Usury, and see what God says about this. It's pretty clear that lending interest is an evil sin. Taking that interest is also a sin. So there's sin for everyone to go around, and it's the kind of slavery you don't want, and it's coming. If it hasn't happened already, it's coming. So try to clear your decks, pay off your credit cards, and buy what you can in cash or out of your savings account or your checking account. And that's the way I've been living. And I'm not a king or a rich man, but I'm well off in the sense that I have what I need. I've saved up money, and I've lived pretty well so far, and I'm continuing to live that way. So for all of you, good Shabbos, Shabbat Shalom, and peace to you. Bye.